viewers, and welcome to the news. The good news. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, 2020, and I am your host, Ambrose. As the coronavirus and the global lockdown continues to dominate headlines, we here at Channel 4D, the Good News Network, recognize that many people are doing it tough. So we will continue to try our best to bring you some positivity behind all the doom and gloom. As many have just celebrated Easter over the weekend, we bring you Stan, the Statistician's Special Easter Statistics Edition. Welcome, Stan.
Thanks, Ambrose. Today I'm going to do a brief layout of how the outbreak of the coronavirus has played out here in Australia. As it is the Easter edition, we are going to demonstrate by using these eggs. So our population is represented in this egg carton, and over here, coming in from China, we have the COVID-19 virus. So after the initial outbreak overseas, we begin to realize that we have a problem and we need to respond. The initial response by the government is unclear. We may have a number of people already infected. We don't know exactly how many, as most do not show symptoms. But we do know that it mainly affects people over 70 years old, and also people with pre-existing serious respiratory conditions, represented by those two eggs there. To slow the spread of the virus, the government comes along and asks people to practice social distancing. So we're going to just get a couple of eggs there to demonstrate. So initially it was 1.5 meters, now it's 2 meters. But social distancing is, the eggs are coming together and then I'll have to move apart. Not allowed to get near each other to slow the spread of the infection. Some naughty people begin to panic and start hoarding all the toilet paper. So we've got the toilet paper and this egg there. That's the naughty people. As things develop, the social distancing recommendations become stricter and social distancing mutates into stage 2 and stage 3 restrictions. So we've got caged eggs here. So where people are not allowed to leave their homes and except to get essentials and to do some exercise. So we've got a little exercise egg here. I'll just get him to spin around like that. There he goes. The government by then had announced emergency powers, and they asked police to come in and enforce these restrictions with heavy fines. So we've got an egg there, got a bit of a helicopter flying over. The idea, of course, is that by cracking down to enforce the restrictions, the population will maintain the restrictions, and through minimizing exposure, the curve will be flattened. So I'll just do the curve flattening here, so like that.
Are there any positives to this all, Stan?
There are many positives, Ambrose. The slowing down of industrialization has helped ease the pressure on the environment. The failure of our elected representatives to provide an appropriate leadership in a time of crisis has forced many to question whether we can do things better as a society in the future. And many of us have more free time now, which allows us to take up creative pursuits that we might not have otherwise had time for. For example, I've been learning the didgeridoo through YouTube.
Maybe you'd like to play us out to the break, Stan?
Sure, I can do that. You ready?
In our main news story today, the city of Amsterdam this week officially decided to embrace what has come to be known as the donut model, a framework of sustainable development created by an economist, Kate Raworth, at Oxford University. See here, The inner ring of the donut represents a nation or a city's social foundation, the essentials that a society needs to maintain a healthy and happy population. The outer ring represents the ecological ceiling. In other words, the environmental and social sustainability of its economic model. The donut itself represents the city, and these little sprinkles are the people. In adopting this model, which attempts to balance the needs of people without harming the environment, Amsterdam hopes to emerge from the COVID-19 with new purpose. To many experts, it is no surprise that the Dutch capital Amsterdam, well known around the world for its coffee shops, has adopted this model. Reports suggest that they agreed on the idea after getting a strong bout of the munchies. Yum. Now to our roving reporter Jimmy Jones out on the streets of Melbourne.
Thanks, Ambrose. It's me, Jimmy Jones here. The reason I'm running on the show today is that with stage 3 restrictions being enforced here in Australia, one of the only reasons we're allowed to go outside without being fined by the police is when we're doing exercise.
I noticed you have a Fitbit there, Jimmy.
Yes, that's right, Ambrose. See?
May I ask how many steps you have done today?
I'm at 3,000 right now. So I need another 7,000 to achieve my goal.
Good job. You keep on running there, Jimmy.
Thanks, Ambrose. See you next time.
Thanks, Jimmy. This week we have an interesting update from last week's story about the global unity meditation that occurred over the week of April 4th and 5th. The Schumann resonance, the frequency of the Earth's electromagnetic field, which is typically understood to be the 7.83 Hertz, and which, as it happens, is pretty much the exact frequency of human resonance. During the exact time of the global meditation, the Schumann resonance reached a peak of 76 Hertz, and as you can see on the diagram, the spike is off the charts. Looks like the meditation definitely had a positive effect. Thailand, 78 Asian elephants previously held in the elephant riding show attractions are officially released into free-ranging sanctuaries due to lack of demand and increased pressure for human treatment. In the UAE, hawksbill turtles are confirmed to be nesting in the strong numbers along islands near Abu Dhabi at the highest levels in 20 years. Nigeria officially declares and designates a new fully protected national reserve within the Ice Forest, consisting of 4,600 hectares of additional protected forest for critically endangered chimpanzees subpopulations. And finally, as the world settled into lockdown, scientists at the British Geological Survey had noticed that their earthquake-detecting seismometers have stopped twitching as much. Close inspection of the charts has revealed that what we here at Channel 4D like to call the Great Pause has changed how the Earth moves beneath our feet. It appears that there are fewer vibrations from human noise passing through the planet. Now to viewer questions. One of our viewers has sent us a question. Taz from Tassie asks, What is your view on Bill Gates' work with funding vaccination research for COVID-19 and his vision of a world where everyone is vaccinated by 2030? Well, thanks for asking, Taz from Tassie. We will ask our expert Stan to comment on your question.
Thanks, Ambrose. Tass from Tassie, I'm assuming you are partly referring to the World Health Organization's Immunisation Agenda 2030 program, for which Bill Gates is a major financial contributor. Well, Tass from Tassie, my view is that Bill Gates couldn't even prevent viruses in Microsoft Windows, so perhaps he is not the best person to ask in relation to virus matters.
Thanks for that, Stan. Now we go to Billy Kazali with sports news.
Thanks, Ambrose. Today's sports news, we announced that UFC 249 has been cancelled. Defying authorities, the UFC had intended to hold a mixed martial arts event on Native American tribal land in the US, but under pressure, the UFC finally relented and cancelled this and all other MMA events indefinitely.
So, we will not be seeing grown men and women beating each other to a bloody pulp for a while.
That's right, Ambrose.
Well, that is good news. Thanks, Billy. Now to Woosha with the weather.
Thanks, Ambrose. In today's weather, we have more reports of huge reductions in air pollution levels all around the globe. This photo shows clear skies all around the Himalayan mountain range, which is normally not able to be seen like this due to smog. And in this next photo from the US, the pollution has decreased so dramatically that everyone can now see the Matrix. That's all from me.
Thanks, Woosha. It's like the whole of humanity has just taken the red pill. That is all the time we had for you this week. Join us again next week for the good news on Channel 4D.